welcome to Ken Hauser, who is the CEO of Actionworks and the founding CEO of 3-Day Startup.
Cool. Thanks, Aaron. Morning. Okay. First off, this is so cool that y'all are here and that you're doing this. Part of the path I've chosen in life to teach entrepreneurship is because I wish someone had given this to me when I was your age. So first off, I'm super jealous. What I'm going to do is tell a few stories about kind of being an entrepreneur, and hopefully they'll be useful to you all as you kind of go on your entrepreneurial journey. So, does anyone here watch sports on TV?
My daddy does.
Okay. So I'm from North Carolina, and North Carolina is this really big basketball state. So I watch a lot of basketball on TV. And there's this guy named Dick Vitale who's a commentator. And when he, does color commentary for the games, I hate it. He's awful. His voice is really annoying. He doesn't say interesting things about the game. And so I noticed this thing that was annoying to me about sports on TV. So I said, all right, I'm going to start a company that fixes this problem. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to build a platform so that other people, that anyone could call a game, right? So that, think about what YouTube did for television. Anyone to make videos. We wanted the same thing for sports commentary, and sports commentary needs this, right? We need more voices and different voices. We need different perspectives on games. I want to be able to watch a baseball game and hear two nerds go really deep on the statistics of the game, right? We need a lot more women sports commentators. I want to hear comedians cracking jokes. I think that this, one, would make sports more interesting, but two, for those of you who didn't raise your hand and don't watch sports, maybe something like this would help. So to summarize this, I found a co-founder, and he and I started this company, and it completely failed. We couldn't figure out how to make money, right? When we would tell people about this idea, everyone thought it was interesting, but no one would pay for this, right? When we watch sports on TV, we wouldn't pay extra for commentary, right? So first business, failed. But what was interesting about this is that I got known as the sports commentary tech guy in Austin for a little bit of time. And so people knew me for this thing, and I ended up getting job opportunities and interesting connections. And that's all because I failed, right? So that was my first company. Didn't work. Second company, I wanted to go somewhere where people spend money. And in the United States, people spend a lot of money on weddings. The American wedding industrial complex. So basically, what I thought was really interesting is that when a couple is engaged, there's something really magical about that time. And I'm interested in how we look at content and how we can revisit content. And so I wanted you to record messages to your significant other and say, hey, honey, I love you so much. I can't believe we're going on this journey. It's going to be so great. And then we put it in a time capsule. So a few years later, you get to open it, and you get to see this message from the person you love more than anything saying oh, and you get to revisit. It's just a cool way of capturing that magic. So we asked people if they liked it. And yeah, this is interesting. And we were sure they would spend money on it. But what we didn't figure out was the user experience, right? Another thing is that when we start companies, we need to be passionate. But we also need to know the people that we're trying to help and that we're trying to serve. So we found that back then, this was almost 10 years ago. At that time, people weren't comfortable recording videos of themselves, right? Now we do it all the time. But back then, holding up the phone, which we didn't always have phone cameras back then, and saying a message on camera, that was stressful. The other thing is that this message isn't just for anyone. This message is for the person that you love the most on this earth. So you want your hair to look good. You want your voice to sound cool. You want the words that come out of your mouth. You want them to be interesting and engaging. And that's stressful, right? So what we found is that I would ask people to record these videos, and they wouldn't do it. They'd say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I would check in with them again. And they would never actually get me the videos. Around this time, there was another company starting that was doing the opposite of what we were doing. So we were you record these videos, and they last forever. And then there was this company called Snapchat that was making videos that disappeared. right? The opposite. And what they did was they uncovered a really big need. They uncovered that, in fact, if we are nervous about recording videos, there's something really cool about the content, the video just disappearing, right? So, second company failed. But at this point, I'm really in love with the process here. Like, I'm enjoying this. I'm meeting cool people. The other thing is that people would send me random articles or things that I got known for being the guy who started this company. And again, it has failed. I have not been successful. So then I start my third company. My third company is called 3-Day Startup, and it was about teaching people how to be entrepreneurs. And here's the thing. When I'm in school and the teacher is just talking, I'm just like I hate that. I want learning by doing, right? I want to go experiment and try things. And so that was the whole vision behind 3-Day Startup. No professors. What's funny is I'm actually a professor now. But we were really annoyed with professors. They were like, all right, we're just going to shove young people in a room, have them start companies, and see what happens. And it worked. It worked really well. It worked here at UT, at the University of Texas, with college students. And there were some exchange students from Germany. And they said, hey, can we try this in Germany? And we're like, sure. So we go over to Germany. It works there. And Germany's different. Right? We'll talk a little about ecosystems, but this is a great place to start a business. We have funding. You can get money for your startup. We have like American consumers. We'll try new products. I think the iPhone could not have been launched anywhere else, right? But Austin is special. Great ecosystem. We went to a village in Germany. They don't have a great startup scene, and it worked there. So then we're like, okay, we're on to something. This is when I realized I don't want to get a real job. And the next 10 years of my life are taking this company all over the world. So this little thing that started here in Austin, we take it to 30 countries. And I get to grow this business. And we have 15,000 students who do this program. They start hundreds of companies. They raised $187 million. We have exits. Exits are, of course, when you sell your company and somebody buys it. We have about 10 of those. Google bought one of our companies. So we had a lot of companies do really, really well. So also, this journey is amazing, right? I'm getting to see how entrepreneurship works in different parts of the world. And now I'm going to kind of transition more into what I learned, what's useful to you. So I just told you about how I failed twice. In the rest of the world, it doesn't really work that way. If you start a company in certain cultures or countries and you fail, you don't get another chance. You're like, oh, there's that person who started that thing. They don't work. No, they don't have a chance. The US, you get another opportunity. You can try again. And so a lot of what I do for a living is foreign governments paying me to go over there and teach them how to build this American-style approach, right? And help their culture so that if you fail, you can try something again. So first off, you all, like I'm teaching this to adults and students. You all are a little on the younger side. The world expects nothing of you. So you all have no excuse not to go big, right? Your job right now is to not fail out of school. Anything else is gravy. Anything else is just, oh, that's nice. So if I were you, I'd be aiming super big. I'm an adult with responsibilities now. So if my companies fail now, I have problems. I have problems related to my mortgage and other things. You guys don't have that. So I would say dive in. Another thing is that you have time to learn. So one advice we give founders is to just become technical. Anyone can become technical. A lot of my journey kind of growing entrepreneurs all over the world was sometimes we think if my last name, there's Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey and Elon Musk. And some people think, well, they're aliens. They're special. They're these amazing people that my last name is not Musk and my last name is not Jobs or my last name is not Winfrey, so I don't really have a right to do this. That's garbage. You do. That's what's so beautiful about this process is that you can learn and anyone can do this, right? And especially here in Austin when we have a great ecosystem. So you can become technical, you can learn. And the other thing is that maybe you don't have aspirations of being an engineer. Maybe you don't want to get super technical. But if you do learn how to be you learn how technology works, you learn how code works, this means that you become really desirable when you're trying to find other technical people to work with. I went to business school. And business school is full of people who talk really loud and are overconfident. And I'm going to get into this lesson. We're going to get into this part in a few minutes. But there's a reputation around business students is that they're just trying to find technologists and people who can write code to help them out. And those relationships aren't always good. Whereas if you're a business person who knows technology and you understand how hard it is to write code, it's easy to do. And I've spent my career talking technologists into working with me because I became technical, right? So let's go to that business student thing about later today, you all are going to be up on this stage. And you're going to be talking to a room full of people. Sometimes that makes you nervous. Does anyone here get nervous?
I always get nervous.
Okay. You too. I know how that feels. I'm going to give you a little tip you can try. What I want you to do is I want you to fake it.
Fake it?
Yes. I want you to pretend that you're a confident person when you come up here. Because when you do this and you like stand up really straight and you deliver and you're like, okay, I'm pretending to be confident. What you will learn is that most people can't tell the difference between real confidence and pretend confidence. And when you learn that, then your pretend confidence actually becomes real confidence because you realize it's all a game anyway. So the way to get better at this sort of thing is just to do it more, right? And the other thing is my first point was just experiment and try things. If you give a pitch today and you stutter or you stumble, I've been at pitches where someone fell off the stage. Not a big deal. It's not a problem, right? You can make mistakes. And in fact, the mistakes are where we learn a lot. So the consequences of failing up here, not very high, right? Like if we get a bad grade on a test, we're like, I got a bad grade on a test. This is nothing like that. So come up here and just give it a shot, right? When you're speaking, try standing up a little straighter. Another thing, and I don't want to get too fancy on you, but there's a diaphragmatic breathing. You can breathe up in this part of your stomach and your voice kind of sounds kind of tight. Or you can talk down here in the base of your voice. And I practice this in front of a mirror because it takes some time. But the other thing is that when you sound confident, the audience, will believe you more. And entrepreneurship is about creating value for people. But if we have an idea that's going to create so much value for people, and we don't articulate it well, if we don't say it well, the idea, we might not be able to make it happen. Another way of saying this is when I walk around, or I'm on my phone and I'm using an app, and the app sucks, I'm like, how did this get made? This is not a good idea. I don't like this. Well, one reason for that might be because the person who made it was really good at telling the story of it. And they got people excited in it. And they were able to build this thing that was not good. Whereas some person who maybe has an amazing idea, but they don't say it well, it doesn't catch people's attention or excitement, maybe that idea doesn't go anywhere. So we need to come up with good ideas that help people and create value and solve problems. But how we say them matters. And that's why today is awesome. That's what we call a pitch. A pitch is about being persuasive. So when you all give it, later today, I want you to try standing up straight. I want you to try to, use your outdoor voice, right? Like, another thing is that we're just experimenting. We're just having fun. So I wouldn't approach today as, am I going to do a good job in front of all these people? What I want you to carry around in your head is, man, these people sure are lucky they get to hear me talk today. They sure are lucky they get to hear this cool idea that I thought of, right? Okay. Another thing that's really important is that when you pitch, and you guys don't need to sweat this for now, but once you get good, I want you to do this, which is when you're pitching a lot, look at the crowd and see how they're doing. If one of you was going like this right now, like falling asleep, I would start talking louder and moving my hands more, right? So we're getting feedback. Feedback is the term for looking at the job we're doing and how that's working. And feedback is everything for an entrepreneur. We need feedback because that lets us know if what we're doing resonates with people. Just because we think something's cool doesn't mean it actually is, right? So when you are pitching today, the room is going to give you feedback. Here's another very important thing, is that your parents, they're the worst people for feedback, okay? Yes, the worst. And the reason is that there's an entire book about this. This book is called The Mom Test. And what this book is about is it says that your mom is going to tell you that your idea is great no matter what. So, rule number 1, most important feedback will come from people who have the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So, feedback is important. We want to be persuasive and engaging, and that if we sound convincing and compelling, we have a better chance of people believing our ideas. And if people believe our ideas, we have a better chance of making them real. Now, earlier, you heard me talk about good ideas and bad ideas. And I said it like these are established things and like we just know. And as if the world is full of this one category of good ideas, one category of bad ideas. It doesn't work that way at all, right? What might be a good idea at one point is a bad idea in the future, and vice versa. Here's an example of this. The idea for the iPhone, someone started a small tablet-style computer a decade before the iPhone, but the world wasn't ready for it, so it was a bad idea at that time. Google was the 13th search engine, so there were search engines way before Google. And for a while, we thought they were just, okay, you go to a search engine and it gives you information, it's not really helpful. But 13 search engines later, being a search engine is a pretty good idea, right? So the way that we solve this when we don't know if an idea is good or not is we just do it, which is another big theme here. Is execution is the fancy word for just doing an idea, making it real, realizing it. And that is everything. Because you know how I just told you about being persuasive and compelling and being an engaging speaker and all that? That counts for nothing if you're not also doing. Remember I made fun of business students? Because sometimes I'm an MBA, so I can make fun of them. Sometimes they say a lot and they don't do much. We never want to be that. We want to be the people who do things, and when we say them well. And the beautiful part about this is that we can do all these things. Doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what skills you're born with. These are all things that we can get good at. And this is not true for everything. If you want to be LeBron James, if you're 5'2", sorry, not in the cards. That is something that you are excluded from doing. But entrepreneurship doesn't work that way, which is why it's so great. Another way to think about that is if you got LeBron James, best basketball player in the world, and then we go down the line and there's 10,000 people, the 10,000th worst person, like the 10,000th best basketball player in the world, we don't know who that person is. They're probably not doing well. Like if they want to play professional basketball, that's not a great career. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're the 10,000th best entrepreneur in the world, you're living a good life. You are solving a problem for someone, you're making money, you're helping your community. Good things come from that. Okay, final thing is about, it's hard to do this alone, so I talked about ecosystems. Another reason that this is amazing is that you all have a community of people. I'm just some guy who's coming up here and saying things, and that's fine. But in this community, you might have an idea, and then you might give him feedback that makes that idea better. So community is a term we use for a group of people working together to make something happen. And entrepreneurship, it's a little different than a job. If you have a job, you're in a room working with a bunch of other people as part of an organization. But if you're an entrepreneur, sometimes that road can be lonely. And this is exactly how you keep that from happening. This is how you have other people that you can ask for advice for. So in adults, they'll come home from work and they need someone to complain about their boss. They need a friend to say, oh, my boss did this, I can't. And everyone can relate to that. But entrepreneurs have different problems. Like, I can't find an investor, or customers aren't buying what I'm selling. Well, if you have a community of people, you have other people you can ask about that. Okay, any questions before we wrap this up? Okay, are you alive and breathing?
Yes.
Okay. Well done. All right, well, I'm going to hang around a little bit, and I'll help you out with your pitches, but I'm so excited to be here. And the fact that you are even here, that you all showed up to this room is incredibly cool. So excellent job, and I can't wait to hear your pitches. Cool. Cool.